that women's rights have come a far way compared to the way that we were treated in the past. And most of this is dedicated to the hard work of the women's rights activists that have made a difference in our society.
Well, I'd like to say that it's progressed incredibly, but right now we have the horrible experience of the girls in Nigeria being taken by horrible terrorists just because they were going to school. Until the world becomes a place where every person, be they male or female, is entitled to a fair and equal education, no one will have civil rights, be they men or women.
I think there's been fluctuations depending on what culture you're in, what part of the world you've been in. In America, I mean, women have always sort of had the side jobs as far as staying home and things like that. And progressively, of course, now you see women in the workplace and holding jobs men had once had before. And, so there's been change.
I feel like it's come a long way from being having to bind their feet in China and being married or forced to marry at a young age. It's come a long way.
Considerably far, seeing as people don't see us as property anymore. Well, hopefully. Well, now we're actually able to have a good education for once. Like I said, we're not treated as property. We're allowed to get our own jobs and do our own things. You know, it's pretty good considering.
It's come a long way in America because women gained the right to vote in 1920.
I think it's actually come pretty far. I'm seeing like a lot of women in like earlier times like didn't have the right to vote.
I feel like men and women had the same pay. It would, help us further progress in a state of more equality.
I think there's such a stigma about people wanting to point out that people are women. So it's, for example, Condoleezza Rice has been quoted as saying, like, why was I always called the woman in this position instead of, just the position? And, at this point, it's just removing that idea so that no one even really thinks, oh, it was a woman, oh, it was a man. It's like, who cares? It's a person filling a position. That's all it takes.
Stand up for what you believe in, and don't be afraid to not back down whenever someone challenges you for what you believe in and stuff.
Well, equal pay would be great. It'd be hella rad. Yeah, equal pay.
I guess, like, from what I understand, women aren't really paid as well as men in certain jobs, and I would really like to be paid. If a man and a woman were to do the same job the same way, I believe that they deserve the same amount.
I think women's rights are a step to higher evolution, and they're kind of necessary.
I believe everyone should be treated equally no matter what gender they are.
Well, as a female, I probably should be for it, and I think that it's gotten a lot of progress. Like, we're actually allowed to vote and stuff like that.
Well, I'm all for it. Just recently the editor of the New York Times was fired because she was making a stink over the fact that she was not being paid as much as her male predecessor. And I firmly believe that everyone should be paid the same for the jobs that they do. There needs to be fairness. As I said earlier, in education, there also needs to be fairness in payment for a job done. It shouldn't be about a man versus a woman. It should be about who is best qualified for the job and who can do the best job at that particular job as well. And women are so talented, and I think that if we tried a little bit harder in the early grades to encourage them that they can do whatever the boys could do, that maybe we'd have a Senate an house full of women as well as men, and people wouldn't be so surprised when one brave lady might consider running for president.
I mean, pretty cool because, you know, I'm a woman and I like having rights. So, yeah. Hella rad. Women's rights 2014.
Actually build a better place for humanity. If you can't have everyone know that regardless of race, age, or gender especially, that they're all equal, then how are we supposed to progress more than we are now?
I'm not super emotional about it, I guess, because I've been lucky enough to be born when, you know, I feel like we have enough equality as far as enough that I don't feel suppressed, because I was able to get an education, able to have a job, and you know, make good money. And are there men out there that make more than I do? Yes, but I don't feel like I missed out on any opportunities in life. And so I feel, as far as in my life, I'm not as passionate about it as maybe someone who has had to worry about that.
It's a good thing. Everyone should be equal. I like it.
I raised 2 sons, and to me that's just a cop-out. Boys have to be raised to be gentlemen because it is true that women are the weaker sex. We are not as physically strong as men, and it's man's responsibility to be respectful around all women and treat them with courtesy in the same vein as women should treat men with courtesy as well. It should run both ways. Men have no right to degrade women in any way, just as women have no right to degrade men. I think everyone should treat each other fairly and with respect.
Okay. Joining us on this interview today, Victoria Nelson, feminist professional. How far has women's rights come? Okay. Thank you, Victoria Nelson.
Get it? Because women's rights are a joke.
Thank you. Are you leaving? What can we do to further progress?
Well, equal pay would be great. It'd be hella rad. Yeah, equal pay.
Does not having equal pay make you hella sad?
Yeah, big time. Because I totally have a job where, that's an issue.
I'm cutting that last part out.
No!
How do you feel about women's rights?
This is my answer! You leave all of this
Okay,
in.
okay.
Alright.
I feel like it's come a really far way, from like hundreds of years ago, like in China when they stopped. I can't do it. We can stop slut shaming. That'd be great. Enjoy that.
What is slut shaming?
Slut shaming is like calling people sluts for like wearing like shorts that may be too short. Like maybe I just have long legs, and they shame people for tank tops, and I don't understand like what's so sexual about my arms.
The difference in our society. The women's rights act. I cannot speak today. Jesus. Are you recording all of this?
Yeah, we're just gonna cut it out. Stop. Okay, again.